Hello and welcome back to Game Day U. I'm Carly Murray and alongside me is Amaya Ward, and we are live in Studio D in Gaylord College at the University of Oklahoma. Amaya, how are you?
I'm so excited. I'm ready to talk some college football.
Ashley Vandervelde and Dylan Rivera are in Fort Worth to cover the game. The Sooners lost against Kansas State. Last Saturday was a rough one for the Oklahoma Sooners. They fell behind 14-0 with 5.5 minutes left in the first quarter. But not too long after that, Dylan Gabriel finds Theo Weiss out in the open and throws a 56-yard touchdown pass to get the Sooners on the scoreboard. In the second quarter, Dime Time shows off his arm talent and throws a deep ball right on the money to Marvin Mims. Kansas State quarterback Adrian Martinez runs in his second touchdown of the night. At the half, Kansas State led 24-17. Adrian Martinez ran in 2 more touchdowns, and tight end Braden Willis had 2 touchdown receptions in the fourth quarter. And ultimately, it wasn't enough. The Wildcats outplayed the Sooners 41-34. I was really stunned by Oklahoma's defensive performance, especially after how well they played in Lincoln. Amaya, what are your thoughts on last week's game?
Yeah, I mean, it's fair to say Kansas State's defense made life difficult for the Sooners offense, and Dylan Gabriel struggled a little bit.
Today, Brent Venables and company face Sonny Dykes and his Horned Frogs, and our very own Dylan Rivera and Ashley Vandervelde are on site for the game. But first, what did y'all think of last week's game?
Yeah, Carly, we are at M&G Carter Stadium. Dylan Rivera, Ashley Vandervelde. We're excited to be here, but before we get into today's game, we've got to look back at last week's game. And for me, it was the play at defensive line that struck me. They could not tell you what fabric Martinez's jersey was this week because they could not get a hold of him. Obviously, that may be a testament to K-State's O-line or maybe their quarterback play, but either way, Sooner fans are obviously going to be hoping for better play up front defensively.
Definitely, Dylan. And what struck me about last week's game was how well Kansas State played. It would have nearly been impossible for the Sooners to prepare for this Kansas State team. While they did look rough, Adrian Martinez had the best game of his collegiate career, admittedly, completing 382 total yards and 5 touchdowns. Just incredible numbers there from the quarterback. So hopefully the Sooners can bounce back this weekend.
Frogs offense is the definition of explosive. They have the most efficient offense in the Big 12. Max Duggan has become more of an accomplished passer in his time as a Horned Frog. His completion percentage is 77%, and the Frogs average 46.3 points per game. This may be the most talented offense the Sooners have faced yet. Oklahoma defensive coordinator Ted Roof expects this to be a fight.
A high-powered offense that's averaging, I think, 46 points and over 500 yards a game. It's got tempo, incredible speed, and athleticism. You know, they've been hitting a lot of big plays, and again, the quarterback's a running threat. He's very efficient with what he does throwing the ball as well, and then all the different formations that the spread tempo teams give you. So, from an adjustment standpoint, something that we've got to be on point with.
Penalties have not been an issue for Oklahoma or TCU most of the season. But against SMU last week, the Frogs conceded 10 penalties for 94 yards. Many of them resulted from delay of game and false starts. The Sooners were flagged a season-high 11 times for 87 yards against K-State, several coming at critical moments. Oklahoma offensive coordinator Jeff Lebby knows how important playing clean can alter the Sooners' fate.
Creating a sense of urgency with everybody in that locker room and with us as a unit offensively to make sure we're playing cleaner and cleaning up the penalty part of it. Because again, I think if that's better, we're sitting here and it's a little bit different story.
Seasons prior to the Venables era, Oklahoma suffered 4 losses. And how a coaching staff responds to a loss says a lot. Defensive end Reggie Grimes was there for those 4 losses last season and now the 1 loss this season. And Sooner fans, you'll like this. He says that the response last year was more demeaning than the response this season.
We're definitely more focused. I think we've kind of galvanized our group, but I think that's a really, really important thing. Just previously, it was, all right, guys, we lost, but you know, let's go back and let's see what we did wrong, and it would be harping on all the things we did wrong and be kind of demeaning and diminishing as opposed to focusing on the good that comes from the bad.
Meanwhile, this Sooner defense is going to have to be on their A game as they face this TCU offense, which is so high-powered. And on the other side of the ball, OU's offense is going to have to score on nearly every drive to keep up with the Horned Frogs. Brent Venables knows that after last weekend, the Sooners lacked situational awareness, and they will need it this weekend in Fort Worth.
You know, I didn't think we played very well from you know, just having, you know, situational awareness. You know, didn't think that we did a great job of that. Again, there's a level of anticipation when you know the situation, and I just didn't think we put it all together for whatever reason.
Game Day U's Addie Crawford has a unique story for us this week. Addie?
Yeah, Carly, unique is a great way to put it. When we come back, I'm going to show you something really, really cool. You don't want to miss it.
Welcome back to the show. The middle of the season is quickly approaching, and OU football is having walk-on tryouts. Addie, I heard you have some potential candidates.
Potential candidates, that might be a little bit of a stretch. These Game Day U guys, they're the experts at talking football, but can they play football? That's the question. We put them to the test right here on the South Oval to see if they have what it takes to walk onto the football team. Take a look.
Wicks, 6'1", about 185. Now I'm trying out for quarterback.
It's Tyler DeLuca. I'm a Game Day U reporter. I'm about 5'8", 5'9" on a good day, give or take 170 pounds, and I haven't played football since 5th grade.
Parker Abels, I'm a Game Day U host. I'm 6'2", 170 most of the time, and last time I played football was in 8th grade.
My name's Dylan Rivera. I'm 5'11", 150 pounds. Last time I played football was 6th grade. So many Tulsa legends that came out, you know, Robert Spears Jennings, Andrew Ray, Dayton Rowe, Jeffrey Williams, Steve Largent, Dax Hill, Justice Hill, Nolan Richardson, Tubby Smith, John Stark, Quick Tillis, Felix Jones, Dallas Keuchel, Bill Goldberg, and I'm just trying to be like them.
I'm scared. I'm scared. I was like, how do you even start? I don't even know. Woo!
Go!
False start.
I'm not tired at all either, so I'm ready to do it again if I need to. Coach Venables, watch out for me there.
You see that, Reggie?
No, I didn't.
I thought I had a pretty good performance today. I don't think this ground is far enough for me to really show my arm talent.
I definitely have some tape from my huddle account that I will be promptly sending to Coach Venables himself.
Make the team?
Yeah, well, you know, they didn't put us through any O-line drills, and clearly, like, that's what I'm best fit for. I mean, watch my step. See?
I think I'm gonna be expecting a call from Coach Venables after this.
Parker, you know this wasn't real tryouts, right?
What?
In just a few weeks on October 19th at 4 p.m. in the Everest Training Center. But I'm going to let you guys be the judge. You think these 4 Game Day U guys are making the team? Wait, actually, I have a 5th Game Day U guy right here. Okay, Michael, let's go. All right, back to you guys at the desk.
Well, if I'm Venables, I'm not taking any of those guys. Well, Sooner fans were shocked when wide receivers coach Cale Gundy resigned in August. In a Twitter post, he said he used a racially charged word multiple times. Assistant wide receivers coach LaDamian Washington got the opportunity to step up and fill Gundy's shoes. Game Day U's Jimmy Wicks has more on Washington's transition.
LaDamian Washington joined this coaching staff in January of this year, but following the resignation of Cale Gundy, he was thrusted into the leader of the wide receiver room. And this is one of the best groups in the country with the likes of Marvin Mims, Theo Weiss, and Jaleel Farouk. But Washington has already made a strong impression on the group and head coach Brent Venables.
So I don't know, you know, he's just going to have to be the man in charge. But he's done a great job. Like, he's very comfortable in that role. Just got a real knack and very natural from a leadership standpoint. Got a lot of toughness to him, He's got a bright light inside of him. He's full of life, and but he's very convicted about who he is as a coach and the relationships that he's built, which I think is critical.
Not only is he using his experience as a 4-year letter winner at Missouri and NFL resume, he's using his motivational speaking and leadership to push this wide receiver core for the rest of the season.
Yeah, sort of. It works out in different ways, but I feel like we didn't really need nobody else just to force us to bring that rhythm out. Because, we practice so hard, but I definitely say we're hitting strides for sure.
This OU squad is already seeing results from the preseason coaching change, with OU being in the top 3 in receiving yards, touchdowns, and yards per catch this season. Reporting from Gaylord Family Memorial Stadium, Jimmy Wicks, GameDay U.
LaDainian Washington has done a phenomenal job with this wide receiver group. He said he's been around a lot of great coaches and he's taken what he likes. He said he asked himself, how could I be the best coach for my guys on and off the field?
Yeah, I agree with you, Carly. I mean, he has been amazing. He was a perfect fit for this team. He already inherited a group that was super talented, and his transition, being able to build belief in the room, has really been showing in this wide receiver group.
Yeah, coming up next, we'll be talking about the Horned Frogs' start to the season, and we'll have a special feature over a TCU player that you won't want to miss. Welcome back. The Sooners face a hot TCU team today. It's Sonny Dykes' first year as the Horned Frogs head coach, and his offense is off to a great start. Dykes is the first Frogs football coach to win his first 3 games since Francis Schmidt did it in 1929. Of the 12 FBS programs in the state of Texas, TCU is the only one remaining unbeaten.
Yeah, TCU doesn't make many mistakes on offense. So let's talk about their pass defense. The Frogs are ranked 116th in the nation in passing yards per game. With how poor TCU is at defending the pass, the Sooners' offense will need to be ready from the get-go.
Yeah, well, we talked a lot about the history of the OU and Nebraska rivalry, and we talked about the recent successes of Kansas State against OU. But what about TCU? Well, since joining the Big 12 in 2012, they have won 1 game against the Sooners. 1. The Sooners are 10-1 against TCU, but obviously a coaching change on both sides. That could change today.
That's right, Dylan. We might see that streak snapped. What's going to be so crucial for this OU team is being able to respond on the fly to this TCU offense that is so high-powered and not put so much pressure on the defense. The Sooner offense is going to have to be able to score on every drive and maybe not go as fast as we've been seeing them.
Look good, feel good is a phrase we know all too well. And for a TCU quarterback, his swag and style is important to him on and off the field. OU Nightly's Kinsey Iserman went to Big 12 Media Days back in July and got an exclusive interview with Trevius Hodges-Tomlinson.
Look good, feel good, play good. This statement rings true for TCU quarterback Trevius Hodges-Tomlinson, and I got the chance to talk to him about his unique style.
I'm a fly guy. I like to look good, and as long as I'm looking good, I'm feeling good. I feel good, I play good. I play good, they pay good. So
I love it. I love it. So how do you keep that energy? Obviously, you can't wear sunglasses on the field. How do you keep that same swagger, I guess, on the field?
I got a swag about myself. I keep the same swagger that I have as far as going on to the field. I carry the same swag onto the field and off the field. So, coming into the game, I already have my, my mentality and the things that I do, my game routines. And so, once I come onto the field, I have my sleeve on, the same sleeve that I wear every game, the one sleeve on the right side, and then I got my visor on, whether it's tinted or whatever it is, that's my swag. So.
Not only does style influence his life, but his grandma and his mom play a big influence as well.
On the way there, I listen to something that, brings back memories of how my younger life was, growing up, with a single parent and everything like that, and just remembering everything that my mother said to me growing up as far as her wanting me to be the greatest. And then also my grandmother, her past tense, of her telling me that I was going to be a superstar someday. And so I've always thought about those type of things going into the game.
If you're ever wondering what the next fashion trend is, next time you might want to watch Trey step off the bus. Kenzie Iserman, OU Nightly.
Now let's take a look at the Big 12 today. I'm most excited for Kansas versus Iowa State. I still can't believe Kansas is unranked. They're 4-0, and they play in David Booth Kansas Memorial Stadium, and the Jayhawks finally have a home field advantage. Okay, last week against Duke, Kansas had a sellout crowd. That's their second time doing it in the last 13 years, and that's their first sellout crowd since 2019.
I'm interested in seeing this West Virginia on the road to Texas game. The road team in this series always has the upper hand, and I'm just interested to see on who's going to break this streak between the two.
Into some of that Big 12 action, Dylan. I'm going to start off with Oklahoma State and Baylor in a ranked matchup. Now, Oklahoma State is undefeated while Baylor has one loss on the season to BYU, but I'm giving this one to the Bears. It's in Waco, so I think that they're going to be able to pull it out.
Well, how about Texas Tech and Kansas State, right? Texas Tech pulled off the upset against Texas last week. Kansas State, as we know, escaped Norman with a victory. Going to be interesting to see these teams go head-to-head and how they fare against each other. Maybe one team celebrated a bit too much this week. We'll find out.
Carly, back to you.
Don't go anywhere. Up next is the OU Breakdown. We'll be discussing what to look for in today's matchup against OU and TCU. Time for the OU Breakdown. We're going to break down what to watch for from the Oklahoma Sooners today in Fort Worth. OU defense needs to be ready. If they don't want history to repeat itself, they need to keep an eye out for Max Duggan. He's a runner, and Sonny Dykes will be sure to mix in a few design runs to try to exploit the Sooners. Billy Bowman, Jaden Davis, Justin Broyles, and Key Lawrence need to be ready. The Sooners will need to tighten up the pass coverage, and it'll help a lot, too, if the defense puts pressure on Duggan and doesn't give him much time to throw.
Yeah, I agree. The Sooners will need to come out ready to go on the offensive side. The Sooners have scored at least 33 points in all 4 of their games this season, so it'll be interesting to see how TCU keeps up. Eric Gray is one of the top running backs in the country, averaging 7.5 yards per carry, and Marvin Mims, who has 18 receptions for 397 yards, will be the best wideout that TCU has seen this year.
Okay, now it's time for score predictions. I think that this will be a high-scoring game with 2 powerhouse offenses. I'm going 45-35. Oklahoma wins it in Fort Worth.
That's a good score. Give me 41-34, OU all the way.
Okay.
Sooners winning this one 42-35. I think they win the turnover battle and take home the win.
Well, I think, believe it or not, OU's defense is going to respond to the way that they played against Kansas State and slow down a Sonny Dykes offense. It's going to be a 38-28 final with the Sooners taking the win.
Okay, Dylan. Well, that's what we have for you from Fort Worth. I'm Ashley Vandevelde alongside Dylan Rivera from M&G Carter Stadium. Carly, back to you.
Coming up, I'll be sliding over and Amaya will be in the host seat. We'll have Jack and Blake joining the set to predict the winners of top games in college football. Pick'ems are next.
Welcome back to Game Day U. Carly and I are now joined with Jack Horan and Blake Mullen. Is everyone excited to make some picks today?
Very excited.
Well, starting off, North Carolina State is headed to face Clemson. Can the Wolfpack pull off an upset, or will the Tigers tie the longest home winning streak in the ACC history?
I'm going with the Clemson Tigers. Their defense has obviously struggled with the departure of Brent Venables and co, but that offense is still dominant. Quarterback DJ Ungiangale had a great performance last week against the Demon Deacons. He threw for 375 yards and 5 touchdowns. So I'm sticking with Dabo and the Clemson Tigers.
Carly, I'm also going with Clemson. Clemson has won 36 straight home games. I don't see that record being snapped by NC State. NC State has struggled to push the ball downfield vertically and are only averaging 7 yards per pass attempt. Give me the Wolfpack.
Yeah, Clemson has definitely looked better on offense. I agree with what you're saying, Carly. But this NC State defense is legit. They are first in the ACC, only giving up just over 11 points per game. And let's look at the other side of the ball. What happened last week when Clemson faced a good QB? Sam Hartman lit them up. Devin Leary will do the same this week. Give me the Wolfpack on the road.
Nice, nice. Good picks, guys. The number 7 Wildcats are headed into Oxford to face the Rebels for an SEC showdown. Who you got?
I'm saying hotty toddy, and I'm going with the Rebels. Lane Kiffin has one of the best offensive minds in college football. Last week, the Rebels had 469 total yards of offense, so I'm trusting Lane Kiffin.
This Kentucky team is already battle-tested, unlike Ole Miss, as they beat the then number 12 Florida Gators in the Swamp. Kentucky's defense is ranked 15th in passing yards allowed and are only giving up 163 yards per game. Give me Kentucky.
This is the first time these teams have played ranked since 1958. This is going to be a very exciting game in Oxford, but I like Kentucky. I like Marky Mark and crew as well. Chris Rodriguez Jr., he is coming back from suspension. He rushed for over 1,300 yards and 9 touchdowns last season. I love the physicality he brings for this Kentucky offense. Give me the Wildcats on the road.
And the Sooners are looking to bounce back on the road to Fort Worth. Can the Sooners make a comeback, or will TCU gain its first conference win of the season?
TCU's defense is not the same without Gary Patterson. I'm picking the I'm picking the Oklahoma Sooners against TCU's defense.
OU is going to take their frustration out on the Horned Frogs after a disappointing game last week. Give me OU.
TCU has the worst pass defense in the Big 12. Dylan Gabriel and Marvin Mims are going to light them up today. Give me the Sooners big on the road.
Thank you so much for tuning in to Game Day U. For Carly Murray, Jack Horan, and Blake Mullen, I'm Amaya Ward.